Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to GNR Frank. My name is Francisco, and today we're going to be talking about the HyperX Cloud Alpha S gaming headset. Let's go. Okay, so check this out. I want to say within the last year and a half or so, I purchased the HyperX Cloud Alpha. It's the very first one of their kind that came out. And I did not like the headset. It was one of the first HyperX headsets I actually disliked quite a bit. The headset felt like it was just on too tight. There was too much tension in the headband. The ear pads were uncomfortable to me, and there was way too much bass. There was way too much bass in the sound, and it just, to me, was not a good headset at all, in all points, right? They recently, I'm not entirely sure how long ago, but I want to say within the last couple of months, they've been releasing S versions of their older headsets, and the HyperX Cloud Alpha S is one of those headsets that came out. And I checked it out. I purchased it, and I've had a chance to try it out for a couple of weeks now. There are two reasons why I gave this headset a second chance, if you will. And we'll cover those here in just a moment. But as far as what's in the box itself, you're going to have an interswappable, interchangeable pair of ear pads. Now, by default, the headset's going to come with the pleather ones on. And when you use the pleather ear pads, it basically makes your headset a closed back headset, meaning that sound's not going to get out, sound's not going to get in, and it's going to be potentially very bassy, depending on a couple of settings that we're going to talk about further down the line. But either way, the pleather ear pads are super well cushioned. They are very comfortable, and after extended periods of time playing with them, my ears weren't getting hot or sweaty, so that's really good right there. It does come also with a USB sound card that you can clip on, and of course, the headset itself. Now, the headset is an all black, matte black finish with the leather headband right here, some really nice cushioning right here underneath, and I have the other pair of ear pads that come included with the headset, these like cloth-like polyester style ear pads right here. And these ear pads, oddly enough, and this is one of the reasons why I gave this headset a second chance, is that these guys convert this headset basically into an open back headset. So sound gets out of the headset, sound gets in, but there is an improvement to the sound stage and to all the sounds and audio work that you're going to hear in your gaming experience as you continue to use these. One thing to note is that the cable is fused into the headset, so it is not detachable. So once this thing dies, your headset is done for. It does have a detachable microphone included with it, and there's one other really cool feature. Number two reason why I bought this headset and gave it a second chance is right here at the bottom. I'm gonna have to zoom in for y'all so you can see there are these little buttons, these little switches right here that affect how much bass you get through the headset itself. And my initial and my biggest complaint with the HyperX Cloud Alpha is that it was way too bassy for my likings. And now, supposedly with the HyperX Cloud Alpha S, you're able to control how much bass goes through these things just by opening or closing this valve right here. As far as comfort and fit goes, I mean, any one of the ear pads that you decide to use, it is incredibly comfortable. It's no longer way too tight on my head. Even from the very first moment that I put the headset on, it wasn't too tight, it wasn't uncomfortable or anything like that. And I have sat down and I have played some pretty long sessions of games, recorded a couple of podcasts, some YouTube videos, and I haven't felt any sort of major discomfort at all. Overall, I mean, the build is pretty darn flexible. It's very sturdy. It's very traditional of what I've come to expect from HyperX. So I don't want to dwell on the build too long. The build's on point, y'all. Metal frame, right? Plastic housing right here on the cans, but it's like very sturdy plastic. I feel like you're not gonna break this anytime soon. You might have to try really hard. And of course, the flexibility of the headband speaks true to how nice and not as tense, not as much tension as the original, its predecessor, if you will. The only thing I will say I don't like is that this analog cable is rather short. It looks like it's approximately about 3 or so feet long. So unless you're playing very close to your gaming PC or to your console directly into your controller, you're gonna have to get some sort of an extension cable, which is exactly what I've done for my PC. I have an extension cord, audio cable coming from the back of my motherboard that adds another like 3 or 4 feet. So at that point, I'm able to play comfortably. But without that, you're almost required to use the sound card to get comfortable length. and that's a little annoying. I wish that the cable was a little longer, and I wish it was also detachable. Anyways, let's get to the juicy stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about sound. Okay, so in terms of sound, the HyperX Cloud Alpha S is actually really, really good. And it's really good, and it's important to note that the sound quality of this headset is really good either using the pleather ear pads or the nylon ones, right? So initially I used the pleather ones because, all truth be told, changing them from one to the other is annoyingly difficult. It's not impossible, but it was way more difficult than I feel like it should have been. I literally had to stop and put the pleather ones back on, and a few days later I came back and swapped them out, and sure, for some reason it was just easier that second time around. I don't understand why, but it was easier. Anyways, when you have the pleather ear pads on, of course, it is a closed back headset, if you will, so sound doesn't really get out of the headset too much, and sound doesn't really get into your headset from the outside. So I played games like PUBG, I played games like Cyberpunk 2077, I've played some FIFA, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and a couple of other titles on PS5, and they all sounded really, really, really good. The bass is probably one of the most impressive features of this headset, is that you have way more control over the bass now with the Cloud Alpha S as opposed to the original Cloud Alpha. The valves underneath the ear cups make a tremendous amount of difference between how much bass you want in your experience. And like I've said already, there was way too much bass in the original version of this headset. So being able to control this has been absolutely monumental and one of the best changes that they've done to this headset, because traditionally speaking, the S at the end of these HyperX headsets basically means that it comes with this USB sound card for simulated surround sound, which I'll tell you right now, using the sound card provided with the headset sounds okay, but in my opinion, analog, it will always sound way, way better as opposed to using some sort of USB sound card. It just doesn't do the audio justice for the game that you're playing. Where this headset really shines is when I swapped the ear pads out for the nylon ones. When I got the nylon ones on, everything opened up. And I remember specifically just walking through the streets in Night City in Cyberpunk 2077 and just taking in all of the audio of the game, all the noises of the streets and the hustle and bustle and the crowds and just everything going on. And it sounded really, really, really good. The gunfire, everything, the audio design of the game, fortunately, is one of the better things as opposed to everything else because of how buggy it's come out. But that aside, the game sounds really, really good. In a game like PUBG, I was able to really tell good directional cues and at a relatively great time too. There's other headsets that I've used in the past where I get some good soundstage and decent directional cues, but it's almost a little too late. This headset provides your directional cues and your soundstage is open enough to where you can hear things coming at you from a fairly long distance and gives you the time to prepare and to react, whether it's somebody trying to sneak up from behind you, somebody in a building that you're in but up above a couple of floors. I was even able to hear people's footsteps in the building next to mine. Everything just sounds great. This headset really does sound absolutely amazing, and it's one of the better ones. I've been using the Razer Black Shark V2 headset for months now, since it actually came out, and since I've gotten this headset, I haven't touched my Razer Black Shark headset at all. Sound-wise, y'all, you're not going to be disappointed whatsoever. No matter what genre of games you play, this headset is great for first-person shooter players who are trying to get an edge over being able to tell where gunfire is coming from, footsteps and all that. And it's great for people who play games like RPGs and action-adventure games where you just want to really immerse yourself into the audio work of a game. You won't go wrong with the HyperX Cloud Alpha S. Now, finally, let's talk about the microphone. All right, ladies and gents, so here is the HyperX Cloud Alpha SS microphone in action, and thankfully they are kind enough to give you a detachable option for the microphone, meaning that if you don't want to use your microphone, you can simply take it off and put it away, and you've got a nice clean presentation on your dome, as opposed to some of these other headsets that have flip TV microphones that are just sitting there sticking up and looking all goofy. That's not going to happen to you with HyperX because they're nice enough to at least give you the option to take it off. Now, after running a couple of tests so far, and mind you, this is the microphone hooked up to my motherboard running through Audacity. This is what this sounds like. I'm not overly impressed with the mic quality here. I think it sounds okay and it's passable. It'll get the job done, meaning that you'll be able to communicate with your party, with your friends, via Discord or in-game chat, what have you, and it'll work. It'll work just fine. I just think that for the price and for the quality that HyperX traditionally has, they can always, it could be better. It could be much, much, much better. Let's go ahead and plug it into the USB sound card, to the PC, and then we're also going to try some tests out on the PS5. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the HyperX Cloud Alpha S headset plugged into my computer using the provided USB sound card. And when you do that, download the HyperX Ingenuity software. It's going to allow you to do things like mic monitoring, increasing your microphone's volume. You'll be able to do some adjustments with the surround sound 7.1 surround sound stuff. And other than that, as far as the mic quality goes, I feel like it does sound a little better using the USB sound card, but the difference isn't really that much. I don't feel like it sounds that much better. So you be the judge. We're going to go ahead and set things up and transfer over to the PS5. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after some trial and error, unfortunately, I could not get this headset to work on the PS5 using the provided sound card. So I'll have to do some digging into that and understand exactly what's going on there. I'm not entirely sure if the headset's just not compatible with the PS5 using the sound card. It works just fine plugging it in directly to the controller, but using the USB sound card that HyperX has provided with this headset, it did not work. I did not get audio, and I could not use the microphone whatsoever. So I'll let you know somewhere in the video or in the comments in the description below if I find some sort of a solution for that. But anyways, let's go ahead and wrap this up. So listen, sometimes it's a good deal sometimes it's a good idea to give things and people a second chance, right? After all, everybody makes mistakes and there are shortcomings in a lot of things in life, including the predecessor to this headset. It was way too tight. It was very uncomfortable. It was way too bassy, and it just wasn't a great headset. And it did not live up to the values and the reputation that HyperX has built up with me. The HyperX Cloud Alpha S, however, completely changes all of that, flips it around, and actually addresses the issues. It is a much more comfortable headset. It's actually incredibly comfortable. It has phenomenal sound, and it has options. The ability to be able to switch from pleather earpads to the nylon earpads really not only just changes the type of sound stage that you're going to get, but it also just changes the comfort level that you're going to experience. The microphone is decent at best. It is probably the thing that got sacrificed in order to nail the quality on the build and comfort and the quality for the audio. Other than that, the USB sound card I think is kind of a waste. I don't recommend anyone use any sort of USB sound card that does surround sound, 7.1 digital, what have you. It just doesn't sound as good as just plugging it in straight to the source, right? It'll sound okay in some instances, and it did okay for me for some of the games, but really I just feel like it can sound a little hollow at times. But anyways, all things considered, I would recommend this headset to anybody. If it's in your budget to get, this headset's actually really, really good. The bass switches, the bass valves at the bottom, being able to control that is really what made the biggest difference for me in buying this headset. Now I'm in this awkward position where I have to decide if I'm going to keep and use this headset and get rid of my Razer Black Shark V2s, or if I'm going to get rid of this one and continue to use my V2s, because as great as the V2s are, they don't have the amount of flexibility and options that the HyperX Cloud Alpha S has. And I got to tell you right now, HyperX has delivered in traditional form with this headset. It is great quality at great value, and I do recommend this for anybody trying to get a great audio experience out of your games. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this review was helpful for you and informative. As usual, it is my pleasure in doing these for y'all. So please go ahead and subscribe and like and comment and what have you. If you have any questions regarding the headset or any of the headsets, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. If you catch me live on stream, feel free to drop in and ask your questions there too. Until next time, be good to yourselves, be good to one another. Peace out.